Oh, are we on, or are we turning up? Are we turning up like our Steelers did today?
I think that's what it's like, Mark. Perhaps we should just do half a show like the offense did, or half a show like the
We will.
defense.
We're gonna do a quick show. We're gonna do a 25-minute show. We're done. I'm so done. I just let me go on a quick rant. I'm actually the way this game was. I'm getting hyped for. No Jamar Chase, right?
Yeah.
TJ Watt, Kazi, Minka. You name all the dudes. Name whoever you want. Ogunjobi. Name whoever you want, right? And what happens? And I'm going to go for everyone. I'm going to go through the whole thing because the whole thing, and when you think about it, it's the coaching. I'm not saying fire Tomlin, so don't get at me. It's the
Mhm.
coaching from here. It's coaching on Canada. It's coaching on Charleston. It's coaching all over the shop, everywhere,
Mhm.
right? And you put out that you have a chance to be 2017, right? You had a chance, and then you go out there and you lay a duck egg in the second half, 4 and outs. The defense can't do anything. The defense got ripped up. Absolutely ripped up. It's abysmal. You're paying this much money for a defense, which is meant to be on paper one of the best in the NFL, and you go and do that. There should be pressure on every single person, on the offensive coordinator, to the players. I thought, I thought Kenny is doing okay, but we can't win because of Kenny. The run game is terrible, and in certain places it was playing pretty well too. I thought the run game was good in some parts. In other parts, why are you running a reverse to Sims in a first down when you're at the 50-yard mark? Why aren't you spreading the football out there to Pickens and these guys and getting
Mhm.
moving? You do a big play to Pickens, and next minute you do a flea flicker that goes nowhere. Come on, man.
Some of the the shovel pass to Gentry behind the line of scrimmage.
Awful.
The
Awful.
the I mean, Najee Harris. I mean, I think he ran for 90 yards, and I actually really felt for him. I don't think Harris played that badly in this game, but there was times when he was getting given the ball, and as he was getting the ball, he was getting a player hitting him as he got the ball, and he had nowhere to go. It's just not acceptable. It's just, I'm not being funny, but you've named all those players. This defense is $100 million defense. I mean, $100 million defense, and the Bengals just look like they could move the ball at will on this defense. They could. They didn't have Jamar Chase. They didn't have Joe Mixon. Yet P. Ryan, who is a second level running back, ran the ball at will on them. T. Higgins is a good receiver, don't get me wrong, but T. Higgins could just run. I think there's at one point the Steelers had less receiving yards as a team than T. Higgins did in the whole of it, into the game. In that point, Higgins outcaught the Steelers. I'm sorry, but that's not acceptable. And I'm gonna make a point here, guys. If this was England, if the Pittsburgh Steelers were playing soccer in England, every single one of those coaches would be sacked tomorrow.
And that's fair enough. Like that, there needs to be pressure on Tomlin and all these guys. It's foundational wise. The Rooney's down. This team wasn't ready. You had the whole week to prepare for this, and it wasn't ready. The secondary looked absolute trash, like absolute trash, right?
Do you know, Mark? The big problem with the secondary is that the Steelers have tried to. The Pittsburgh Steelers have done what the Pittsburgh Steelers do. They've done it on the cheap. They've done it on the cheap. They've gone out and they've got three cornerback twos in the hope of making one cornerback one. And that is a big issue. I think, as Matty, as our mate Matty was saying at the start of the year on War Room on BTSC, we need a cornerback one. You need an outstanding leader, a cornerback one. And if you look at the teams that are doing very well in the NFL this year, like the Bills, they have Tre'Davious White. The Dolphins have Xavier Howard. The Chiefs, I can't remember the name. Is it Snead? They've all got outstanding cornerback ones, and that is something we have not got. We haven't had an outstanding cornerback one since Ike Taylor.
T. Higgins had 148 yards, 16.4. So receiving wise, P. Ryan had 52 yards, 13 average. They were doing short passes and dissecting the zone. Joe Burrow had 400 yards, 355 yards, 4 TDs, and 2 interceptions, and we're still in this game. Trent Irwin, whoever that bloke is, had 42 yards. Tyler Boyd had 42. T. Higgins absolutely carved up this secondary. And you name all the names. You have the great defense on the front guys. You have Hayward. Look, I'm sick of naming them. You always name them. You think, oh, we've got these guys, and you have nothing. The effort they put out there is absolutely stooge worthy, man. It's terrible. Like Every single play that is a third and 10 or a third and 12 gets completed. You see, he's throwing the football down the field in zone, and next minute, Arthur Millet's getting beat. Levi Wallace made a good play on catching the football. He got beat, right? They keep getting beat every time. I can't handle it. I just can't handle what they're doing. They're just, it's just frustrating at a team level. You're up by 20-17, and you come out and allow 17 points to then lose the game completely.
I mean, concentrate on the defense for a minute, and I think I'm sure we'll move to the offense shortly, Mark. But when you're paying $100 million for something, you expect quality. And if I was Art Rooney II, I would be calling Tomlin into my office and saying, "What am I paying for? Why am I spending $100 million on something that like that cannot stop a team putting 37 points on us?" And a team that didn't have their first choice running back, a team that didn't have their first choice wide receiver. I mean, I know their line was a lot better in this game and stopped Watt and Highsmith, but Watt and Highsmith still got after Burrow. They still both got sacks. Well, Highsmith got a sack, and Watt put him under pressure. But if I was Art Rooney II, I would be seriously calling Tomlin in and saying, "Why am I and Omar Khan? Why am I paying $100 million for that? That's not worth $100 million." I'm sure he's a very shrewd businessman, Art Rooney II. He wouldn't be making money if he wasn't. And I'll tell you something: if that was his business, and his business and his people in his business were underperforming that badly, they would be getting sacked on Monday morning. I just don't understand it.
There were times in that game where, you know what, we got the sacks with the interception. TJ Watt changed it around, then you got 3 points. These kind of things are happening. It's just overall frustrating, I think, because look, you put it down to and Jerry says here the O-line, we couldn't rush, but it's the same play. It's the exact same play we've seen all the time.
The one thing I'd say about the O-line is the O-line. What do you do with the O-line? It can't get any better. What you see is what you get with them. They're an average. They're not awful. Don't get me wrong. They're not terrible. There are worse offensive lines, believe me, in this league than our offensive line. But they're average. That's all they are. They're average. And but the other thing about this offensive line, there is no pressure on any of them. I mean, Mason Cole obviously went out injured today, and Hassanauer played. But if you look behind each of them, there's no pressure behind them. There's nobody coming up from behind putting pressure on them, saying, "I'm after your space." I mean, Dan Moore, again, I'm sorry, but that man needs to be benched. Again, holding penalty. Again, just letting people run through Hendrickson, run through on Pickett. Dan Moore, I'm sorry, but if they think he is a left tackle they can build an offensive line around, they're clearly smoking something or drinking something they shouldn't be, because he is awful. He's like a turnstile. Him and Dotson.
Is that your dog snoring?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Even he's even checked out. Yeah. I'm just beyond. I think this game at the start, it was going to a slugfest, and we couldn't get out of our own way, right?
Yeah.
But it did turn into a shambles, and of course, everyone in that locker room, I think, needs to hone the loss, right? Yeah. Some are saying that it was Kenny's fault. Some are saying Canada. Some are saying Mike Tomlin. But in the reality, it's every single one in that locker room, and it's just frustrating how this is working itself out, because I'm not saying, like, do you think we should go and move on from Kenny? Is Kenny a bust right now? Because that's what we're going to get. It's going to be Kenny's a bust. Stuff like that's going to come up.
Yeah, of course it's going to come up, and it's going to be pretty mad again for the next week, isn't it? With abuse with people pointing fingers at different people all week, and that's what happens with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the nature of the team that they are. But is Pickett? No, he's a rookie. He's still learning, and I don't think with any rookie quarterback you can actually draw a judgment on them until they've had at least 2 seasons under their belt to know what you've actually got in that quarterback.
I thought he got better this game. I thought
he did get better. He made steps forward. There are still things that concern me about Pickett. I think his deep passing is hit and miss with his accuracy. He threw a couple of really good deep passes, but then by the same token, he threw some pretty wild overthrows. There was one to when Pickens was in the end zone, and he completely overthrew him. I mean, another one, Mark, did you notice as well? Deontay Johnson, big game, goes missing again.
Yeah, yep. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it can't be all on him. And to me, it's a lot on the defense as well. Like what's a quarterback meant to do, or the offense meant to do? I know the play calling was bad on the offense, but what are they meant to do when they're down consistently? The defense allowed these points to come flowing in over and over.
The defense couldn't stop the Bengals. That was the thing. The Bengals just threw the ball at will on the Steelers. There were so many, my stream, I was talking about it, when they had them 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 16, and so on and so forth, you just knew that they were going to throw the ball to T. Higgins. He was going to come up with a big play for 20, 25 yards, and they were going to get a first down. It just seemed, because they couldn't get any penetration, and it was Burrow had time. Give Burrow time, he's going to find a target. But what alarms me is the fact that they knew who the target was. Why not double up on him or do something to stop him, Higgins? I don't get it. I don't think Minka should have played today. Minka I don't think was at all in fit. He had an operation 7 days ago. He shouldn't have played.
It's just so much to it. And I'm sorry, I haven't really got any I don't know, professional thought, but I really don't care. I don't know. I'm just so over it, man. I just thought we had this game.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, it seemed to be a game of two halves. It seemed to be the first half, the offense didn't look that bad. Then the second half, they stank. I mean, because what happened obviously at halftime is the Bengals made their adjustments, we made our adjustments, and their adjustments obviously a hell of a lot better than what adjustments we made. I think obviously Tomlin got out coached by Zach Taylor. Their offensive coordinator outcoached our defensive coordinator, and their defensive coordinator outcoached our offensive coordinator. That's just the nature of the thing. And I'll be honest with you, I think the problem is this is a very young team. That's the first thing.
That's exactly right. There is no mature leader really besides Cam and those dudes, right? They're celebrating when they're down. Marcus Allen's out there dancing like he's on Dancing with the Stars, makes a big play, but your team's down. There's just these comical things. It's just comical things that happen all the time, and it's a different era. It's 2022. You don't really see that back in the day. It's frustrating because what annoys me a lot about this team is the second half play. You're up by 3, and you come out and I can't even remember the play selection. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find it. Owen, if you want to rant about something else, I'm going to find what happened after.
I mean, the one thing I'm going to say, Mark, is Marcus Allen dancing like he did in the special teams plays when we're getting absolutely hammered down. Could you imagine him doing that if Joey Porter was there, if James Harrison was there, if James Farrier was there? It just wouldn't happen. They would go and grab him by his face mask and drag him off the field and tell him to stop being so stupid and smack him around the head.
I found it. So after the half, it's what's so frustrating because you're 20-17, you're up, you're playing, you're in the game, you got the interception, you got the field goal, which probably could turn the points, but still pretty good points, right?
Yeah.
Now you come back and you get the ball. What are you meant to do? Go down and score. Lay the smack down. Kenny Pickett short pass to DJ that was a screen, by the way, for 1 yard. Terrible play calling. That's all play calling. The only one option was DJ right there. 2nd and 9. And it was Najee Harris, left guard, no gain. So a run right up the guts for the exact same play call we see all the time from Canada. Screen, run up the guts, goes nowhere. Kenny Pickett, passing complete, deep left to Steven Sims. I can't remember that play, but that was a deep left pass for 3rd and 9, done. See you later, mate. Kick the ball away.
Yeah, and there was some really inexplicable play calls. There was a 3rd and 25 when they decided to run the ball. Like Harris is going to blast off, 30 yards to get a first down, or 26 yards, to get a first down. It ain't going to happen. It just beggars belief what he's watching and what he's actually calling out there. And look, I get people are frustrated with Pickett. I get people are frustrated with the offensive line, but Canada's played.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. Here's another one, right? 24-20, you're down. You get the ball back after a touchdown. They get a touchdown, right? It's 3rd and 7 minutes, right? Steven Sims from the 21-yard for a right and bloody frustrating. I'm so frustrated. Reverse. Why are you running a reverse when you're 24 down, 4 points down, 24-20? You're running a reverse in 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Why are you doing that? That reverse went out to the corner. And I like when they do it sometimes, but it went out to the corners, and the only person out there blocking was DJ. Why? Why are they doing that?
It doesn't make any sense when you're down like that. You should be throwing the ball.
Is that on Kenny? That's on the play calling, man. Come on.
Canada's play. I mean, look, Kenny will miss things because he's a rookie and he's still learning, and that's the problem. He gets flustered at times. You can see that, but the problem is, I think we, as a franchise, we have been so spoilt by the fact we've had Ben for 18 years, and Ben, you know, at the end of the day, is good. Ben would be able to come through this situation. And do you know what, Mark? I honestly think if Ben had played today, we'd have won the game. I think we would have won the game because he would have gone toe to toe with the Bengals because he would have taken over in that fourth quarter.
He would have taken over. It's frustrating. Why are you running a reverse with 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, down by 4? They scored a TD. Should be developing the routes down the field, and we saw that happen. We saw Kenny get on the move and find Muth. We saw him find Pickens for a big play, which was a need at that time. We know factual evidence from previous press conferences that Matt Canada has said he gets himself involved to get the 3rd and 1. He has said that countless times. He plays to get the 3rd and 1, and he doesn't play beyond the sticks. He never does. And I gave him a good praise last week, and now it's false hope, man. I'm so beyond done with this system, and that can't reflect what Kenny's doing. Sure, he might be missing his rookie stuff, but how are you running these plays like that? That Gentry pass, that Gentry's 6'8", and you're throwing him a shovel pass in front of defenders coming down the box. Your dog is the best podcaster on this thing right now. I'm done, man. I'm so done. It's comical, bro.
It is comical, and like I said, it's frustrating. It's so frustrating to watch because with the offense, you sit there and you watch the play caller and you watch what they're doing, and you just think, is that the best we can do? And people criticize Kenny. One thing that I'm going to make a point here, and I know some people don't agree with this point because I've been blasted down for this before, but guys, put Patrick Mahomes back there, put Josh Allen back there, put Justin Herbert back there, put, I don't know, Tom Brady back there, and tell them they've got to do what Matt Canada tells them. They're going to struggle. They're going to look awful. They're going to look average. Put Kenny Pickett with Andy Reid, with Sean McVay, with Kyle Shanahan, with Josh McDaniels as an offensive coordinator, not as a head coach. Put him with Kevin O'Connell. Put him with those people. He is going to do better. He is going to look better. He is going to get better quicker because they are offensively minded, very creative, offensively minded coaches. The problem at the moment for Kenny is that Kenny is learning, and he's learning from an offensive coordinator that couldn't coach a girls' high school team to any sort of level. Sorry, girls.
Oh, they probably play better. I don't know. I'm reading the play selections here. It's frustrating. Now, here's one in the fourth quarter, 11 minutes in the fourth quarter. The Bengals are up 27-23. Najee Harris, what do? You get a big run. I thought it was a great play, a 13-yard play, right? First and 10 on their own Cincinnati 34. Najee Harris runs it for 3 yards to get a holding on Pat Frymouth. You can't do that. It can't happen. Then, first and 20 at Cincinnati 44. Kenny Pickett pass short to Pickens. And you can't do that either because J.C. Hassenauer ran downfield. The penalties, the bad preparation, it's playing, it's everything. It's coaching, it's everything. It's bad. And then shotgun pass to Najee Harris, incomplete. And another, that was first 25. Second 25, Kenny Pickett incomplete to Olszewski, done. Najee Harris, third and 25, up the middle for 7 yards. You don't even going to attempt the idea to get back in the game by throwing it down the field?
Yeah. I know that was the one I was on about, the third and 25 there. That was just absolutely ridiculous. And you know, I don't know. This is my train of thought. I just despair. I despair with Canada. I really do. And the thing, you know what, Mark? Because we scored 30 points today, Tomlin's going to spin it as a positive, isn't it? He's going to spin it as a positive about the offense because they scored over 20 points. Look,
there's no real positive. There's not much positive really after this game because you let one go and you had it in the grasp of 2017. Better play calling and better execution from the players, we win this game.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers actually lead the NFL in ineligible man downfield penalties, which is down to bad coaching. You know, But the one thing I'm going to say about the coaching staff, the offensive coaching staff now, is are we surprised that it is doing badly? Let's just run through it for a minute.
I had hope.
Matt Canada has never coached before the Steelers at the NFL level. He's a college coach who runs a college spread offense that works in college and was worked at small schools. Yeah, I mean, and he was never that successful at LSU. Then you've got behind him, you've got the likes of Mike Sullivan, who, as an offensive coordinator at the New York Giants, was a disaster. You've got Chrisman Jackson, who was sacked as wide receiver coach by the Carolina Panthers. You've got Pat Mayer as an offensive line coach, who was sacked by the Carolina Panthers. Now, are you telling me that the best Pittsburgh Steelers can do is to get cast-offs from the Carolina Panthers?
It's just embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing because when the offensive coordinator and the players aren't playing well, then the defense goes out and lays the egg. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. And this is why the game ran away. It should have been. They shouldn't be able to score points. And what's the most frustrating part for me is, and we're gonna start to wrap it up soon because the snoring gets me. This is the best. This is the snoring podcast. That's Owen's dog, by the way.
Sorry, guys.
Why did you try to advance the football down the field with 1 minute to go when nothing counted? It doesn't make sense to me. What are your thoughts on that? Like, why try at the very end?
It doesn't make. It makes no sense. It makes zero sense. I don't know. I'd love to. Actually, there's no point sitting and talking to him because you couldn't get any sense out of Canada because he just thinks that everyone should bow down before him, don't they? So,
sorry, can I cut you off again? I thought of a point. You know what I did?
Yeah.
I actually wrote down on my. Here's my remote. I don't know why. I wrote down on my my notes. I took a screenshot. I took a screenshot of Canada because I wanted to use that thumbnail this week.
Yeah.
I was like, in preparation, if it goes bad, I've got his visual.
Yeah. I mean, Brian Harrington says in the live chat, he says the Steelers coaching system is broken. Do you hear that, Mr. Rooney? Put your big boy pants on and grow a set of balls and clean house. Your indecision is embarrassing.
You know what? I'm not a fight Tom guy, but if it happened, it happens. You know what I'm saying? If it happens, good. Let's just move forward. You know, because then everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. Fire them all. Let's move on. You know, all right. I don't care what happens now because there's it's his dog.
Yeah, my dog, Brian.
It's so good. It's so good. Owen, do you want to finish your final thoughts? We'll get out of here, mate. I'll do a video for both Syndicate and Steelers. I'm just done.
Yeah, I just can't think of anything logical. All I could do is rant about it because it was bad. It was embarrassing. That's the main thing, isn't it? It's just so embarrassing watching that, seeing that team, $100 million defense, give up plays right, left, and center whenever the Bengals fancied it, and the offense again reek the joint out. You know, for me, I'll be honest with you, and I'd love to be proved wrong. Look, I'd love to be proved wrong by this, but the season's over. For me, the season's done.
Yeah, that was the. I still wanted to win every game, right? But that was the point where it's like you had to win that one to have a chance.
Mark, they're not beat. There's no way that team goes out and beats the Ravens. I'm sorry, they're a better team, and it hurts to me to say that. I hate the Ravens. There's no way they beat the Ravens. That team beats the Ravens. I'll be honest with you. I don't think we can even beat the Colts next week. The Colts nearly beat the Eagles today. The Eagles are a much better team than us.
I've got no words. I really don't. I think I've been doing this stuff, the content creation, the podcasting for 2-3 years now, and it's like, what have we got ourselves into? Like, it's fun talking about team, but at the same time, we try and think of ways we try and think of ways for this team to do things, but it's like you're showing us the exact opposite we're trying to portray with Haywood and all these guys and Najee Harris, and it's like,
Do you know, Mark? I've said this, and I've said this on numerous occasions, on numerous videos, on numerous podcasts, and with different people. I've said this. This organization needs a root and branch overhaul. It needs to be brought into the 21st century. It needs something doing to it. It needs someone to sit down, because at the moment we are constantly taking sticking plasters to a broken leg, and it is not going to work. Someone needs to sit down and move this organization forward. And the way you do that is that, I wouldn't curse the dog with that name, Brian.
Yeah,
And
me neither.
you need to move this organization forward. You need to turn them into an organization like the Chiefs, like the Bills, organizations that compete season in, season out. And that is, you look for offensively minded people and aggressively offensive minded people to run your offense. If you're not going to go with an offensive minded head coach like an Andy Reid, like a Sean McVay, like a Kyle Shanahan, like a Bruce Arians, then you've got to go for someone as your OC who is exceptionally aggressively minded as an offensive coordinator. That's the only way forward. And the recruitment policy needs to be looked at. The coaching policy, the coaching hiring policy needs to be looked at, because at the moment, Mike Tomlin will not hire anybody who is a threat to him. He will not hire anyone who is seen to be bigger than him, because he has an ego and he doesn't want to be challenged. And that's why he won't bring in people like Frank Reich. He won't bring in big names into his staff. And I'm sorry, until that changes, this organization is going to be stuck underperforming season in, season out, and it will not win another playoff game until that changes.
Well said. And guys, I'm just lastly, I'm just kind of done. I'm not done with the team. I will still cheer them to win every game, like Owen would too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's frustrating because this might be the most frustrating team I think I've ever seen in my life. And the growing pains without Big Ben, it's hard. There's no structure, or there's no commitment to anything in this team. It's like, oh, we'll get them next week. Oh, we sucked. We this, we that. We did this wrong. We did that wrong. There's nothing really happening or changing. I thought it was a bit of false hope last week that we got that win. I gave Canada praise. I thought it was fantastic. This week, I thought it was awful. And there were times where they did let it go fly, but then there are other times where he's deciding to do their screens and the reverses that don't make sense in situations, and the play calling to Gentry. And it's like, what are you doing? The penalties, there's just no there's no heart. There's just no heart. This team has been on the falling down the stairs for a very long time, since probably 2016, I think.
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't know what to do. This is the losing season, and I will cheer them on next week to win, even though the playoffs are probably out of reach now for sure. You'd have to win every game.
Not going to happen.
You have to win every game, and they can't beat the Bengals at home. So,
yeah.
And look, we'll end on this. Check out Coleman Report too. They do some YouTube stuff as well.
Yeah.
Spinning wheels of mediocrity. Tomlin hasn't won anything without strong coordinators, and his ego has got no control. I agree 100%. This franchise it's so. I said it in the numerous podcasts I was on. I was so hyped for this game, and I knew the fall would be pretty hard to take. And it is really hard to take because we put everything into it, and you think, oh, we've got a chance. And there's just no consistency to this team. And they're going to say the same answers again and over and over and over and over. From the players, from the staff, from Cameron Hayward, we need to get a next time mentality. And I'm kind of sick of that mentality.
I know. I won't bother watching Tomlin's press conference on Tuesday because it'll be the same old rubbish. It'll be the same old. It's pointless watching.
You should just do a video, right, and just make something up. Probably the same.
Well, all I've got to do, Mark, is watch the last two and just copy that, but just change the names a bit.
The team is beyond frustrating because we know how probably good with the right coaching, with the right players actually stepping up and caring. Like plays, like if Marcus Allen actually wanted to play better on the field rather than dancing, or putting why don't they put players in certain situations? Like you never see. I know Killebrew isn't the guy to play in like safety and stuff, but you never see him play safety. Like you saw like Warren went down and they used Snell in there once. It's just the same over and over and over. Boykin went out. They didn't use Sims and didn't target Sims. They went to move a few times and then they went away from him the whole time. It's
Yeah.
beyond frustrating. And the defense allowed 37 points. T. Higgins, there was no Jamar Chase. You're thinking, oh, yeah. I thought, to be honest, I thought the threat was going to be the run game.
Yeah.
Right. And exactly right. These players on the roster, what is going on? Why are we getting other players? And it's right. It's mediocrity. It is. It is mediocrity. Starts from the top. And it's like, come on, man. All these things are like, we have so many. I guess we as fans, we have excuses how good they can be. And they never live up to that. And it's not that hard to, I don't think, with the players we have. And of course, the offensive line is not great. You know, there's parts where they aren't great, but the defensive parts where you are great. Your defense is what, $100 million, and you're 37 in your house, Owen.
I know, it's
It's
embarrassing.
like me going to your house and I use your fridge and I don't wash up. Exactly the same.
Yeah, drink all my beer.
Oh, Julie. All right, Owen, you get to bed. I'll do
Yeah.
some videos. I'm going to rant on both. I'm going to rant everywhere. I'm so done, guys. Thank you, Cold Milk, Brian. Thanks, everyone in the chat. We'll see you later, mate. The Steelers are 3-7, and it hurts. It absolutely exactly right.
Yeah.
It hurts.
100%.
We'll see you later. Here we go. And you know what? I can't do it.
Yeah.
We'll see you later. See you later.